objective is I can solve two-step equations using an if-then method. Okay. So when you have an equation like this, always draw a vertical line on the equal sign. Okay, on the equal sign, and locate where is the variable term. It's a 2r, right? So when you find a variable term, you're not going to touch this. It has to be stayed as it is. But see what number you have next to the variable term. So there is a positive 4. So you need to write it down that 4. Because if it's a positive or plus 4, you always need to do opposite of plus 4. So you need to subtract 4. If you are subtracting from 4 from on the left side, you have to do the same thing on the right side. So you need to subtract 4 on the right side too. So this is the step number 1. Okay. And step number 1. So then simplify this. Let's simplify the left side. So 4 minus 4, that's why we're subtracting 4 to cancel them out, and bring it down the variable term that I told you we're not going to touch this yet. And there is an equal sign. 10 minus 4, that would become 6. Okay. So the last step, if you guys remember, if number and variable comes together, there is a multiplication. It's a 2 times r. When you solve equations, always you go backward. So because if it's a 2 times, this time you need to divide by 2 with the same number. If you're dividing by 2 on the left side, you have to do the same thing on the right side, dividing by 2 on the right side. So now simplify this. 2 divided by 2, they cancel out, it becomes 1, and only r left. On the right side, 6 divided by 2, that would become 3. Okay? Okay, so on the second example, this time it's the same form, like 2k minus 1 equal 9. So we need to figure out what is k is equal. And take a look, what is the variable term? The 2k is on the left side, right? Right here. You're not going to touch this 2k. So you need to locate it and see. What is the number that comes after the variable term? It's a minus 1. Because if it's a minus 1, to cancel it, you always do opposite. So you're going to add 1 this time. If you are adding 1, you have to add 1, the same thing on the other side. So you need to add also on the right side of the equal sign. So now let's simplify this. This is the step number 1. So 1 is our cancel out. That's why we're adding 1. And only 2k left. Okay. And on the right side, so it's just a 9 plus 1. That would become 10. So the last step, it's a 2 times k. When we solve equations, we always go backward. So if you divide by 2, both sides of the equal sign, so the 2's are cancelled out, and only k will be left alone, and 10 divided by 2, that would become 5. Okay, so my solution for this equation is k equal 5. And let's try to do this kind of questions, because you will see in your IXL practice, sometimes the variable term comes second. So draw a vertical line like this, and locate where is the variable term. It's a plus 2r. So you're not going to touch this. Pay attention what number you have in front of that variable term. It's 4, right? Because if the 4 is positive, look at it. There is a no minus sign in front of it. So because if it's positive, you always do opposite. So you're going to subtract 4 this time. So subtract 4 from both sides of the equal sign. Okay? And then 4's are cancel out. Let's simplify this. Bring it down the variable term. It's a 2r, and that is equal 8 minus 4. That would become 4. Okay, so 2 is multiplied to variable r. To cancel it, you always go backward. So if you divide by 2, both sides of the equal sign, so 2's are cancel out on the left side, and r will be equal to 4 divided by 2. That is 2. Okay. The point is, in solving equation, you always need to single out, isolate, leave it alone variables. Okay, so this is what we're doing in solving equations. So let's take a look at the second example. What is the variable term? The variable term is right here, but in front of the variable term there is a minus sign. So you need to include that minus sign when you bring it down. Okay, so the 5 is alone. Pay attention what sign you have in front of 5. It's positive. Because if it's positive, you subtract 5. So if you're subtracting 5 on the left side, you need to do the subtraction on the right side too. Okay, so 5 minus 5, it cancels out, and you need to bring it down variable term. but I told you, like, you have to bring it down the negative sign together. It's a minus 2m. So that's why you need to put bring it down negative 2m. And that is equal 9 minus 5. That is 4. But now negative numbers are come here. So you have to be very careful. What number you have in front of the variable? It's a negative 2, right? If you divide with the same negative 2, both of them, you always divide in front of the variable. Whatever the number you have, if there is a negative, you need to divide by negative number. Okay? So 2 negative becomes positive, and 2 divided by 2, that cancels out. Only m will be left. And 4 divided by negative 2, that would become negative 2 this time. Okay, so that's the only difference. If there is a negative number in front of variable, you need to divide by negative number. Okay, so last kind of questions that you will see in your benchmark, it's a variable term this time has a fraction form. Look at this. So in this example, like, it's not 4k, it's a k divided by 4 this time. So you're not going to touch the variable term for now. You need to leave it alone like this. And then see what number it comes after the variable term. It's a minus 3, right? You always do opposite of whatever it's been done in the equation. So you add 3 this time on both sides of the equal sign to keep it balanced, like a teeter-totter we talked about last Friday. So negative 3 plus 3, they're cancel out. And you need to bring it down the variable term. It's a k over 4, you know, and equal 1 plus 3, that becomes 4. So always we were trying to divide something right at the end, but this time, because of the division is being made, we need to multiply. We always do opposite of what it's been done. So we need to multiply this time by 4 with the same number that it's divided by. So if you're multiplying by 4 on the left side, you have to do the same thing on the right side. So now 4s are canceled out, only k will be left, and 4 times 4, that would become 16. Okay? And let me show you one more example about this one. So you're not going to touch the variable term, t over 4. You need to leave it for now. And subtracted 1. Because of subtracted 1, you always do opposite, adding 1. If you're adding 1, do the same thing on the other side of the equal sign. Okay? So clear out, and let's do the first step. Negative 1 plus 1. Step number 1, this cancel out. Bring it down the variable term. It's a t over 4. That's equal 3 plus 1, it's 4. And the last thing is, because of the t is divided by 4, you need to multiply this time by 4, both sides of the equal sign. Okay? So 4s are cancelled out on the left side, and t will be equal to 16. Okay? So